Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 3 of our F1 2002 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live at the weekend from Zandvoort, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We had quite a good time. The first couple of rounds, you know, been a bit of learning with our new Ferrari team and of course the gorgeous F2002. But if you think this car is going to be as dominant as the real-life counterpart proved, this series is certainly throwing up some surprises so far. Williams have been the team to beat in the opening couple of rounds. Jacques Villeneuve leads the way ahead of Heinz-Harald Frentzen by 3 points as we leave Zandvoort there. Michael Schumacher still ahead of me by just a single point after we've had a podium each to kickstart the year as well. But yeah, we definitely need to try and prove that we can fight with Williams over these next couple of weekends there. You can see there's a bit of a gap back. David Coulthard, Anthony Davidson having a brilliant campaign so far with 2 P5 finishes as well to his name. But yeah, I think this season is going to be really, really exciting. We haven't got any upgrades at the moment going on to the car, mainly because they're actually quite expensive for this Ferrari. So I'm waiting to try and get another aerodynamic upgrade on in the next couple of weekends. We're going to be focusing on that, you know, behind the scenes, just trying to get as many upgrades as we can. Of course, if you're new as well, please do make sure you hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 140,000 on the channel right now. But anyway, let's head out then to Barcelona. Obviously, we won this race last year, despite having to pit on lap 1. Maybe, just maybe, we can do it again. Well, here we are then, ready for qualifying in Barcelona, and well, on paper, I would have thought this track won't suit us very well, but maybe, just maybe, we can be surprised this weekend. I would expect it to kind of fall into McLaren's wheelhouse, but they struggled at Zandvoort, and these two circuits are fairly similar, both quite high downforce and quite difficult tracks to really get nailed. I mean, if I'm going to put money on anybody, though, I think it would have to be Williams, wouldn't it? Although Schumacher did get between them last weekend by the end of qualifying. Obviously Barcelona, where he took his first win for Ferrari all those years ago. I would take it if we could get a win here today. Of course, it's where I took our first win with McLaren last season. So we try and put the power down up the hill. Camps are not quite flat out. Well, definitely not flat out with that line. So we dip a wheel through the gravel on the exit. We only lost time because of it there, as in towards the final sector of the circuit we go. Of course, we've got to deal with the old version of Barcelona, which even these guys didn't have to deal with back in the day. This lap has certainly been a bit ragged, though, at the moment, as we try to attack the curbs through these final couple of corners. The car does seem to be sitting fairly nicely. It's again another little bit of a wobble at that final turn. Power down then up towards the line. It is again P4. Just a little bit far away, that lap got really, really scruffy. I can't say for certain, but I'm pretty certain our top 10 is either identical or is the same 10 drivers as we saw last weekend there. The top 4 are definitely exactly the same as what we saw. Jacques Villeneuve will storm to pole ahead of Schumacher, Frentzen, and myself. But yeah, I mean, both BARs, both McLarens, Button and Patrick are all getting into the top 10 there. That's quite a surprising one come the end of qualifying. But I guess, again, we were able to get in between those Williams last time out. Let's hope we can do the same here.
Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat this weekend. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. That was a great podium in the last race, so can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Well, it feels like more regularly we qualify closer to the Williams at the front of the order, but it seems like their race pace is a little bit better as well this season. Admittedly, everybody's race pace is pretty good. These cars are getting ridiculously fast right now inside this game, but hopefully once again we can try and be in that fight. We just, like I said, we cannot let Villeneuve start stringing together too many victories, building up too big a lead at the top of the table. But 33 laps ahead of us then here from Barcelona. We look up to those 5 red lights here on the grid. Really long hole, but it is going to be lights out. Oh, and away we go there as both Williams struggled and myself. That might be Michael Schumacher then with a good opportunity in towards turn 1. I've definitely done the worst of the bunch though, as we are going to get swallowed up in towards that first corner. A little bit of wheel banging with Zolt Baumgartner as we try and find a bit of a window. 3 wide on the exit turn 1 as well. But luckily the Italian horsepower will help get us out of too much trouble there through the first couple of turns. But down to P9 then off the start of the GP, and for whatever reason I just cannot launch this Ferrari car. Just seem to get met with a lot of... We get met somehow with wheel spin and traction bog as... Well, we were down the inside of Jensen Button, but he really wanted to squeeze me for it. Luckily there we will just about get through as, yeah, it looks like Schumacher actually lost a place then off the start of the Grand Prix. Coulthard and his new teammate Marc Genet then just in front of us as well. Danica Patrick very, very slow off a cancer, so we're definitely going to be able to capitalise on that one. As we thought about having a look down the inside at the hairpin, but again, a little bit of a late blocking manoeuvre there from the Sauber driver. So hopefully, yeah, we're going to be able to try and fly past her pretty quickly. Seems actually like this car is very strong through this final sector there, as down the inside of Danica Patrick. I hope that's the only way I ever have to say that sentence. It felt grim just saying it. To be honest. But anyway, lap 1 survived. We only lost 3 places in the end, but it almost feels like then McLaren's pace was masked in Australia more than anything else, because they've been really weak ever since then. Maybe this year their car just suits the low downforce circuits. So we'll try and have a look around the outside of Genet into turn 1 there. Around the outside we'll go. But I mean, yeah, that car didn't even look that good in a straight line, so I think McLaren just a step behind Williams and Ferrari early on. But I think already Villeneuve and Frentzen trying to bolt away from Schumacher. Well, I do think it would be interesting to know what I'd be able to manage in that McLaren car at the moment. I thought about having a look down the inside of DC as well at those final couple of corners there. I mean, you can really match your foot to the floor on the exit of the chicane there. And I mean, look how much that McLaren struggles with drive off of the corner. So we get to the inside of DC. Looks like that McLaren does have a little bit more straight line speed than our own car at the moment, but to the inside we'll go. Coulthard actually has a bit of a lock up in towards that first corner anyway, so we're back a bit of P5. But yeah, definitely a gap opening up at the front of the order. Villeneuve, that Williams pace on heavy fuel is fantastic. Really does seem like Anthony Davidson has taken to Formula 1 like a duck to water early on this campaign, as Villeneuve, another new fastest lap of the afternoon on a 1:20.3. We only managed a 1:20.8 there. As to the inside of the BAR, definitely not the best car in terms of straight line speed, but very, very good as an all-round package. And well, we're going to relegate him back to his regular position then early on. Anthony Davidson, he's back into 5th. Well, Frentzen and Villeneuve then at the front of the order are just trading fastest laps, but that's exactly what we need. New fast lap of the day. We are getting into the swing of things here. Admittedly, that wasn't much faster then either of their cars are gone. But again, then, similar story to last weekend. Schumacher's the one with track position early on. We are the one with the pace. Oh! I thought we'd get the first 119 of the race, but apparently not. A 120 exactly at the end of that lap. One of the other things I'm noticing very early on is actually how useful it is to try and use the rich revs in this car as well. It does seem to give you, a good extra 3-4 tenths of a second around this circuit when you get it hooked up. But yeah, now we are stuck in the wheel tracks of Michael Schumacher. Don't know whether he's going to try and pit slightly earlier there. I think that's Frentzen diving into the pit lane. So once again, Villeneuve and I might be left to go just a little bit longer, and yes, we will. So Schumacher into the pit lane then. We've got to work on these next couple of laps to try and get the undercut on him.
5.2 seconds.
Oh no, sorry, Villeneuve's into the pit lane there, not Frentzen. So let's try and see if we can take a little bit of time out of him. Maybe, yeah, Villeneuve won't get held up in the pit lane. He had too big a lead. I never actually saw what the gap was to Jacques. There we go, Frentzen into the pit lane at the end of the very next lap. I always like to try and go one extra if we can, just in case we get a safety car or something like that. But yeah, the gap to Villeneuve then, about 12 seconds. That would certainly not be big enough to get past him. What I'm really interested in right now is Schumacher. These last couple of laps haven't been fantastic, but hopefully there's still going to be enough to try and get the jump on Michael as well. Just get inside that bollard on the way into the pit lane. Absolutely massive foot to the floor and then slam on the anchors to make sure we got it slowed down at the right point. And the gap, to Michael, about 23 seconds. So I don't know whether we could get slowed up behind Rubens Barrichello if he doesn't dive into the pit lane yet. There goes Villeneuve. He will be the first car into the 1:19s. As, Frentzen as well, not far behind him as we get back out onto the road. Where is Rubens? There he is. So can we get the jump on the Brazilian? Yes, we can. And we've actually got a big undercut on Michael Schumacher there. But we've lost time to our top two. Get to Villeneuve, then if we can get to Frentzen, then we'll pretty much be with Villeneuve by the end of the GP. But there we go, finally dipping in to the 1:19s. We have got a little bit extra pace over their cars, but they've got such a big gap at the front of the order. And it is pretty much when I nail the lap that we take any time out of them. You just can't help but feel that Frank would have told them both, still obviously drive pretty quick, but you're not under much pressure right now. Look after the tyres. If you end up in an awkward situation, you'll hopefully have a lot more grip than I will. As Schumacher finally gets past Rubens as well, but he has lost bags of time. I think unless we get a safety car or something interesting happens, we could be in for quite a lonely second half of this Grand Prix. The gap to Frentzen is staying fairly level. It's just if I make any little mistake, and then we lose a couple of extra tenths to him, gap to Schumacher behind us is just opening up every single lap. But watching the delta time though, I actually don't think the downforce is the problem on this car. I think we actually need to focus on more powertrain upgrades at the moment. So Enzo Ferrari, he might be very annoyed with how I've said this car needs more aero in recent times, but hopefully he will start shining down on me if we try and, encourage the team to upgrade the power unit a little bit more. The engine, that big V10 that we love so much. But yeah, obviously next up is Monte Carlo though, so that is hopefully going to be a good track for us anyway. But yeah, at the moment, we've just got no fight against those Williams. I can't even close in the gap. Well, I guess if anything's going to keep us entertained towards the end of the afternoon, it's going to be trying to get around some of these lapped cars. Fernando Alonso, pretty disappointing home Grand Prix at the moment for the man his second year down at Minardi. Kimi Räikkönen seems to have definitely had the better of him so far in their time as teammates in the sport. As there we go, he will just jump out of the way. And we are not up a spot at all, but we've put the Minardi a lap down. Well, the big reason I'm continuing to push still towards the end of this race, continue to hold out hope, is just the fact that Frentzen is losing bags of time by trying to get around all these lap cars, as we've lost a second driver of the day. I believe that is one of the Jaguars. But yeah, I'm kind of looking at it going, it's really odd. Minardi, they're much closer to everybody else on qualifying pace this year. But they seem to be further away on race pace again, unless they've just been a bit unlucky early on. But yeah, the gap to Frentzen has come down now to just 5 seconds. So yeah, it is the Jaguar of Mark Webber that is out of the race. But the man of Ralf Schumacher's talent should not be languishing down at a Jordan team at the moment. Do you guys remember back the first time we tried to do 1999 when Ferrari accidentally created the Schumacher kind of ultimate lineup? And Ralf actually looked pretty competitive against Michael early on that season. That was a really kind of fun and missed thing from inside this game mode. But yeah, Toyota as well, though, really struggling at the moment. That's why Pablo Montoya is going to let us by just about. Got to be so careful, though, because the AI, they can let you by and then dive bomb you into the very next corner for some reason. Gap to Frentzen, though, under 4 seconds. We are finding a way through this lap traffic better than anybody else. Oh, there we go. 1 minute 17 now, late on in the day. We are flying along towards the end of the afternoon. 5 laps left of this Grand Prix. The gap to Frentzen now is under 2 seconds. Can we somehow find a way through? We have not given up towards the end of the afternoon. I really want it to pay dividends. Well, a bit like Zandvoort then last weekend, our best opportunity here is actually out of the final corner as well. Frentzen just makes a little bit of an error. Clearly starting to feel the pressure. And he's been a lot closer to Jacques Villeneuve this weekend on pace than he was around Zandvoort. But yeah, definitely still we have been able to challenge these guys. Or by the end of the afternoon there, a little bit of curb hopping through that final chicane there. But can we now get the run on Frentzen here? 2 laps to go of the Spanish Grand Prix there. And you can just see even tucked up in the wheel tracks by barely gaining anything on the German in towards turn 1. Can we try and roll through turn 1 and turn 2 there? Give ourselves a nice opening for turn 3. Can't quite put the power down there and actually a little bit wide out on the marbles on the exit. You just see how close we're getting. We just need Frentzen to make one other little error. Just one little moment of wheel spin. And that could be the difference maker here. Villeneuve is looking pretty safe in P1. But he's only got his rear gunner to thank for that. One more lap to go then of the Spanish Grand Prix. And again, we're going to get right up behind Frentzen at that final corner. Again, though, I just don't think we're going to have the top end speed to get to him by the time we get that down in towards turn 1. There is one more little bit of lap traffic that we're going to have to navigate here on this last lap. Could that be the difference maker by the end of the afternoon? Is that Williams? He just is such a good all-rounder. I think it's slightly better than our car in the straight line. Slightly better than our car through most of the corners. I think the only place we seem to be a bit stronger is actually the kind of high-speed corners, which Barcelona sadly does not consist of many of, as Frentzen there has found his way around, I believe, that's Zolt Baumgartner in the BAR car. But is he going to create one last little bit of drama here? Are we going to be able to try and have a look past Frentzen on this last lap of the Grand Prix? Just need him just to slow him up somewhere in the wrong place there. But you just see Frentzen, he's able to get the power down where he needs to. Blue flags are now out, and Baumgartner's not getting out of the way. Come on, in towards those final couple of turns. They're really trying to attack the curbing, attack on the exit, as well as throttle down out of the final corner. For the second weekend in a row, we are going to follow a Williams home. It is not enough. It is P3.
They've done it then. A spectacular victory here in Spain and a massive confidence boost going into the next race. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Spanish Grand Prix. Jacques Villeneuve will take victory number 2 of the year and extend his lead at the top of the championship standings. Frentzen in second ahead of myself there means, again, it's Williams, and a Ferrari on the podium early on there. But Michael Schumacher, 20 seconds back come the checkered flag there. Really did struggle for pace, beating out Anthony Davidson, who, yeah, just has P5 on lock so far this year. Coulthard beats out Genet, Danica Patrick in 8th ahead of Barrichello, and Alexander Wurz will round out the top 10 in his Renault car as well. Just Mark Webber and Jarno Trulli, who both failed to see the checkered flag, but a lot of cars are lapped down come the end of that one. Championship-wise, it means now that Villeneuve has a 10-point lead at the top ahead of his teammate Frentzen. We are now top Ferrari man, 2 points clear of Michael Schumacher there, as Davidson will open up a little bit of a gap ahead of Coulthard as well. Not a lot of movement, though, further down the order. Danica Patrick gets some decent points on the board ahead of Jarno Trulli and Jenson Button there, and then right at the rear of the field, Baumgartner will get past a few guys by virtue of count back. Williams still dominating constructors ahead of Ferrari and McLaren there. BAR comfortably ahead of Sauber, who are 1 point in it between them and Jaguar. But there we are then. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourselves subscribed. We will be back next time out for the duel in the Formula 1 crown. We'll be back for the Monaco Grand Prix. If we can win anywhere this season, surely Monaco is going to be that place.